Honestly, even though people got very kind of upset over my grading and my take on the Xbox Showcase, I think 7 out of 10 is a very good score, and I think Microsoft actually did some things very well. The things that I was most disappointed in was, I think, in fact, due in large part to a lot of what quote unquote insiders were saying, and quote unquote a lot of what, people that were really not in the know but were supposedly leaking these bits and pieces of information. Yeah, so it's a little bit, I think, of column A where it's their fault, and then a little bit of Microsoft's fault. It's like I feel a little bit, I guess, betrayed by some of what Microsoft showed, because it looks like they showed stuff and announced stuff in 2019 and 2020 that they knew was extremely far out, and they just chose not to say anything, basically because they wanted to hook people into buying their hardware, which people were going to buy the hardware anyway because it's new, and that's what like a lot of the hardcore do. But I guess when that couple million runs out, you're going to have to sell other people in your hardware, and so I guess that's where some of the misleading comes from, because they didn't show any of that stuff. I mean, the Hellblade 2s, the Perfect Darks, the Avowed, Fable, the stuff that got people excited last year, turns out is 2023, 2024, 2025. I mean, could be into next generation at that point. So we do look at this and we kind of go, oh, well, that's a little bit strange or whatever. But for me personally, I would really, really think that it's interesting the way that people kind of look at how Sony did their, how Microsoft does their things differently than Sony. Sony's not going to do E3, of course, but we are starting to see that Microsoft had a plan and they executed it very well, I think, from the pacing standpoint of view and things like that. But when I look at things, right, and I look at this and I go, okay, well, who exactly is to blame for a lot of the things that we didn't get, but everybody was hyping up beforehand, right? Like, and I don't want to point specific fingers, but I'm sure you guys all know the different people that we're talking about here. First of all, there was absolutely no studio acquisitions whatsoever, right? This was a heavy rumor that Microsoft was going to go out there and acquire a bunch of studios and things like that. I think all the pundits and YouTubers and influencers take a big fat L on that one. It was Crytek, and it was Rocksteady. No, it's not Rocksteady. It's NetherRealm Studios, and then it was something else and something else, and it just, to me, I just find it to be funny that was ever the case, or that people were suggesting that that was going to happen. There was just no way that they were gonna, what I mean? Like E3, the reason why they filled previously E3s, and I'm not saying that they're never going to buy another studio, but the reason why they filled previous E3s with announcements like that is quite simple. It's because they didn't really have anything else to talk about, and I think that's the main thing that people probably forget or refuse to kind of accept as to why things that are the way they are. Microsoft, just, let's be real, didn't have any games to really get out there and talk about. So, of course they're going to have to talk about, what are you going to be excited about? Well, we got studios. Well, what do studios make? Well, they make games. Basically just kind of buying time for when people can go out there and talk this stuff up. Now, when it comes to other things, right, people said, oh, Kojima's going to be there, or, then there was the excuse that maybe Kojima wasn't going to be there. And I think that a lot of people kind of were under some impressions that, there's some kind of ink drying or something. I don't know what the deal is, but for me personally, I just thought that it was very interesting that, in fact, they didn't really do a good job of if this was a real thing, kind of letting people down a little bit. Like, I knew once we saw Kojima at the Games Fest thing that he wouldn't be there, but still people kind of looked at it and went, oh, well, maybe he'll be there or whatever, because he's got to deal with Xbox. And I just think that that's not going the way that they probably plan. But, at the same time, I think that, is that still possible that we'll see something, different? I don't know. I don't really know. Do they have some kind of deal Again, I'm not really sure, but I thought that was a funny kind of situation where people were like, yeah, he's going to be there and it's going to be great. The other thing that was a big fat L was no Ubisoft Play in Game Pass. I kept hearing for the last year how Ubisoft was going to have, you know, their version of whatever it is, I guess of EA Play or whatever, join up with Xbox Game Pass, right? Oh, it's going to be, we're going to play, Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs and, all these games are going to be playable on Xbox Game Pass. It's such a great value, and they're going to keep adding value by adding all these other things. And, again, that really just didn't really come about, you know what I'm saying, in the same way. So I find this to be quite humorous, right? And, and I find this to be just a situation where a lot of people were wrong. And you don't really see the people, like, this is the thing that annoys me, right? Like, if I'm wrong about something, I have no problem saying I was wrong, because literally everybody can be wrong and has been wrong and will be wrong at some point, right? It doesn't matter who your favorite YouTuber is, mind you, or who your favorite influencer it is. 100% of them have been wrong about something. 100%. Right? Now, the thing that bugs me about a lot of these Xbox YouTubers is quite simply the fact that they never admit that they're wrong about anything. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it in my life. It's kind of ridiculous that, that happens. And to be honest with you, it's a little bit frustrating at times. Because they all make all these kind of promises and things like that, or all these like, yeah, this is something. Again, how many times did we see, people like say that there's definitely something going on between Nintendo and Microsoft? Definitely. Game Pass, confirmed, Nintendo Switch, it's happening. And then we look around and we go, oh crap, well that didn't happen. They didn't even mention Nintendo. Look, Microsoft is doing their own thing. Phil Spencer has said that for them to put Game Pass on something else, you would need Xbox Live and all the other things in between. Nintendo has said that they're not interested in that. So for the people that are claiming that that was a thing, like, what's up now? Or what about the people, this was a rumor before E3, Steam coming to Xbox Live or Game Pass, and Game Pass going to Steam. Right? Like, oh man, that's the end of everything. It's going to Steam, and Steam's coming to Xbox. That's this. Again, in what world would even that make sense? Right? Steam's their own thing, their own store. Right? Having Game Pass on Steam, isn't that counterproductive to what that store does? Wouldn't having Steam games undercut Microsoft's own cut of profits on third-party games? Like, how would that even work? People sometimes, I really just think that they say things just to say things, and they don't really realize how utterly ridiculous they sound. So, yeah, I find that to be incredibly funny. One of the other things, again, so far, the things that I'm naming, 5, 6, 7 things. Anybody can be wrong about one thing, but this is like 5, 6, 7 things that people got wrong about Xbox's E3. The other thing is Battlefield. Right? That was for sure going to be on Game Pass day and date. What happened to that? It's going to be for sure. I don't even got to buy this on Xbox because I could just play this day and date on Game Pass. Right? Now, how's that look now? I just, to me, it's funny. I just find this kind of stuff to be quite humorous to me personally, because the more these people are wrong, the more people are going to finally start to realize how wrong they are and how they just BS everybody, right? Right from the beginning. I mean, listen, even the stuff about Halo, right? If you go back and you look at Halo, the screenshots that they've done, the screenshots look really good from the multiplayer. You know what I mean? And I said that they should definitely melt faces, and they look pretty damn good. I got to be honest. Some of the multiplayer still shots that they've released. Now, are those PC? What are those? Probably PC shots. But so people saying that the game would look bad or whatever, I don't know. I would like to see some actual campaign footage, but I don't think that the still shots look bad at all. I think that it actually looked really good. So again, insiders wrong right there as well. So, we'll have to see how that kind of comes about. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Who's to blame? I blame all the pundits, the YouTubers, the fake insiders. For now, just do your thing. I mean, believe what you want to believe, but you're just going to be let down. You know what I'm saying? But rack 'em up. Thanks for watching. This has been Crapgamer Reviews. I'm Crapgamer. See ya.